Today's podcast is proudly sponsored by Awaza, the name behind some of the most trusted pond equipment in the hobby. If you're serious about koi or looking to upgrade your pond, consider looking at Awaza equipment. The Profi-Clear drums, water pumps and systems are designed to handle serious pond loads with minimal faff. And if your goal is crystal clear water, then look no further. Awaza allows you to enjoy your fish rather than just constantly firefighting your setup. And to be honest, it's the sort of gear I wish I used from day one. Big thanks to Awaza for supporting this podcast and for supporting ponds across the UK with gear that just works. Hi, welcome back to the Koi Perspective podcast. I've got the most handsome koi keeper on with me today. How are you doing, Matt?
You can't give me that sort of intro. All right, how are you guys? All right.
Yeah, can't grumble.
If you hadn't already seen, Matt is my thumbnail model. He's one of my most popular videos so far. The pond with magic Sumi, that's what we called it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with me. It's all to do with the pond.
To be fair, I shouldn't be saying all this positive stuff. I'm not sure his head can get any bigger after the year he's had this year. You've had a pretty good year, haven't you, so far?
I've had a good year. Done well at the shows. Koi are just doing really, really well. Really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good. Had a good year.
And it's all downhill from here because you're building a new pond, which we're going to get into in a bit.
I'm about to enter a world of pain and misery and financial ruin, I think, by the looks of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Is this pond a grow on or is it an extension, like a bigger pond?
No, so my pond's give or take 2,300 to 2,500 gallons or something. And like a lot of us in the hobby, a lot of us keep ponds around about that sort of size, don't we?
Yeah.
And I'm at the sort of place now where I'm thinking where I want to be in the hobby is I don't think I can get where I want to be with the pond that I've got right now. So where I want to be is I want to be able to grow 75, 80 centimetre koi if I can. But in my current setup, I can't. I probably could if I had 3 in there. But who wants to just keep 3 koi? So the plan is to go bigger and hopefully I can grow bigger koi, hopefully. But along with that, I'm in a real funny place because the pond works so well. Like, it does grow them. It doesn't grow them massive. Like, the biggest I've got in there is probably... I've got a handful at 60, 65, but that's sort of it now. I don't really see them. Yeah, I don't really, the bodies are coming on them, but I don't really see them getting any bigger than that. And I'm certain it's because of the stocking level that I have and also just the size of it. It's not,
Yeah,
so hopefully.
I'm a big believer in that if you've got good filtration, the main point of like growing fish beyond that is like the swimming space, isn't it? Like it's having that like length and width. I don't know if it's necessarily about how many gallons you've got, although obviously that does play a part in it. I do think like if you just even, because this is going to be nearly double the width and length into this pond. So it's just going to be like double the space. But are your stocking levels going to come down? Because that's going to be the key, isn't it?
Well, at the moment, the pond is roughly 3 meters by 3 meters. That's roughly what it is at the minute.
Yeah.
And width-wise, it will probably stay around maybe up to 4 meters, but realistically, probably sort of like 3 meters 50. But length-wise, it'll probably go 5 or 6. And I'm hoping with the length in the pond, they'll be able to swim more, build up a bit more muscle, grow a bit more. Hopefully. I got to build it yet.
What about depth?
So, good friend of mine, you know Stuart Hay, don't you?
Yeah.
You know Stu, GC, won GC at the Great British a few years ago. He is a builder by trade, and so he's been sending me all these drawings of how deep things should be. And to be honest with you, he's really helping me out. So we've decided 5 foot deep it works out about 5,000 gallons, something like that.
Good size.
Yeah, it's a good size, but when you see the hole you've got to dig, the amount of earth that's got to come out, and it's a minefield. Yeah. It is a minefield. I'm really excited to build it, but I'm also really apprehensive at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not a pond builder. I've said this on this podcast before. Like, I get the excitement of a new pond, but I'm kind of, as soon as you start, I'm waiting for the day that it's done. Like, I don't enjoy the process of it. I know there's loads of people out there that really love the idea of getting your blocks. And I think, Matt, you've done like you did your fiberglassing on your last pond, didn't you? So you've got involved with the build. But I'd quite happily I quite liked the EZ pond this year on my grow on because it was like,
plug and
done.
play.
Yeah, plug and play. Like, it's here, done. Like, but do you enjoy it, Matt, or not?
So I built my pond all myself last time, everything from ground up, everything. And the way my sort of mindset is, if I don't build it myself, I'll feel like a bit of a fraud, if you know what. Like, I want to be involved in everything. But the reality of it is, I'm building a pond again in the winter, which is the worst time to build it. As long as it's as long as I can get it done for the springs, because with my work, what I do, I quiet over the winter, so I can only sort of attack it during the winter. Come the spring, I don't get 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I am going to give in and get someone to dig it out for me this time. And I think I will fiberglass it and I'll put the roof on it and I'll do all the plumbing. But I think this time I'm going to get someone to dig it out and block it, get it all blocked for me.
Yeah, because you've done sleepers on your last one, haven't you? And that worked pretty well.
Yeah, well, sleeper's easy, isn't it? You just sort of you dig the ground out, you put your concrete in, and I got 3 by 3 meter sleepers, and you just bolt them together. It's easy. A sleeper pond is really easy. And then fiberglassing's not hard either. You know, just don't be scared of doing it. Fiberglassing is more than doable for your average hobbyist. Granted, you're probably not going to make an amazing job of it, but as long as it's watertight, after 6 months' time, once all the algae grown over it, you can't see the finish. It doesn't matter as long as it's watertight.
On a scale of like IKEA flat pack furniture to like PVC piping, how hard is fiberglassing? Because these things are probably like my level of tier.
So, are you on about like one of them bookshelves from IKEA? One of them, what are they called? Them ones that you can buy? I would say, like anything, do you know what it is? As long as you have, first of all, have the right tools to do it, have the right materials, take your time with it, get your mixes right, and just have a go. No, fiberglass it stinks and it's horrible to work with, but as long as it's ventilated and if you want to, wear a mask, just have a go.
Yeah.
You know, what's everything's rectifiable. Just give it a go.
There you
That's
go.
my attitude to most things, to be honest. And it sees me through in life more often than not.
Well, as I mentioned at the start, I'd done a feature on Matt's pond this year. One of the big things, I visited a lot of ponds this year, but one of the big takeaways was you've always had good Sumi in your pond. Like we agree on that. And your filtration at the moment is Nexus through bead filter, isn't it? And you've got a shower as well. But you're changing that for the new pond. Why? So what are you moving to and why?
So currently it's Nexus with off the bottom drain, a bead off the skimmer, and then I've just got a Tommy drain that pumps over the shower, and it all works really well. And this is one of the reasons why I'm a bit apprehensive about changing setup. So I've succumbed to the drum. So it's going to be a Burton's drum with a moving bed, which will be a blocked up moving bed. And then I'll continue with the shower. I'll probably get another shower, so I'll have 2 showers. And I'm just hoping I don't open a can of worms and I can still condition the fish as good as I get them now. I mean, it's not through the way my fish are in my pond. It's not through any special thing that I do or anything. I just get lucky, I think. I genuinely think that. The Sumi is always really good and the skin is always really good. I don't do anything.
I've never seen. I'll like try and put some clips in if I've still got them on my computer. But like, it's almost like a luster, and especially on the Sumi, it's like ink in your pond. So there's got to be something in the chemical makeup of your water or the filtration that's allowing the Sumi to do really well. I don't know if you can put your finger on it, but I think what you mentioned before we came on that you're changing to a drum for flow reasons. Is that right?
For flow reasons.
Because you can't, if you're doing 3 bottom drains through one Nexus, that'd be pretty slow flow through 3 drains, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is the main reason I'm going to a drum, because the Nexus is superb. Like, I cannot speak highly enough of a Nexus. I've had this one 5 years. and bulletproof, bomb-proof. It's not got an auto kit on it. I enjoy going out 2 or 3 times a week, dropping the water and cleaning it. But I'm stepping up to a drum just so I can get that flow over the showers. Yeah, that's basically why I'm going to a drum. It's the only reason. I mean, going back to the why the skin and the Sumi's so good. I can't pinpoint it what it exactly is. I try not to put any products in my pond. Anything. I don't put any conditioners in there. Nothing. I don't put anything in the pond. I'm a big advocate of fresh water. And I haven't got a trickle in. I do I don't know.
Your nexus kind of dictates that, doesn't it? How often you clean your nexus dictates how much fresh water.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got the bead as well. So I do like changing a lot of water. Not masses, but I'm a big advocate of that. Apart from that, it's very simple, very basic koi keeping, to be honest with you. I'm very lucky as well with parasites. I know a lot of guys, I feel so sorry for some people. They're just constantly battling parasites for whatever reason, and I don't seem to get any drama.
I think that's half the battle, is that if you at first you don't succeed, you end up down the rabbit hole of parasites that you get. You do a treatment, then your fish come down with it, and you stop feeding, and they get weaker, and then you treat again, they get weaker again, and so you end up just down such a rabbit hole. If you can keep
again. Do you think? Sorry to interrupt you, Joe.
No,
do you think that hobbyists, and I have been in the past as well, do you think we're too quick to jump on if you see a couple of parasites? Do you need to chuck a treatment in? Because I have scraped in the past. Like, I've had a fish. Don't get me wrong. I've had drama over the years. It's not been all plain sailing. I do have fish that sulk, and you leave them for a couple of days and they perk back up, or they don't perk back up, and I will scrape them. And I do find the odd fluke on them, but that doesn't concern me at all. Doesn't bother me them having flukes on them.
No.
And they're not flicking and flashing. I just sort of leave them alone. I just sort of leave them be.
If
there was a huge outbreak, then I would definitely jump on it. But for 2 or 3 fluke, not a problem.
Do you know what I really like to do is whenever it's like preparing yourself for the season. Like, again, people are just going to be like, they'll be skipping this bit. They'll be grabbing TV remote and skip, because you've heard me say it so many times. They'll be skipping it on Spotify or whatever. But like, so many times, I just think you've got to set yourself up at springtime, haven't you? You've got to get your fish in. And to be honest, when I get my grow on ready for, say, February time, when I start probably putting my heater on, I'll probably get all the fish in that I want to keep in there for the year, get all the ones I want out, like gone, and then probably just do a PP treatment as a proactive. I've added new fish, there's going to be an outbreak or something, so just PP treatment, done, dusted, start the season from there. And if say they come down with something later in the season, I'd do like you, Matt, maybe give it 3-4 days, see if there's still that behaviour. But if I just can't see, if you get it right at the very start, you shouldn't have the knock-on consequences of a bad spring into summer. What do you reckon, Will?
Yeah, the interesting question. Are you on about preventing? Are you on about preventative treatments?
I think preventative treatments is better than just chucking them all in spring, all your new fish that you get from your dealer, and then just starting feeding and then treat like during the feeding season.
I think it depends on the parasite, and I suppose that's why it's difficult, because so many treatments are very parasite specific, and some treatments are a lot harsher than the others. So if you like banging a certain treatment in regularly, like, what detriment is that having on the fish's health long term? Like, because obviously the gills and everything and how they are, they're living in that water. If you're nuking them with like high doses of chemicals, it isn't good for them long term. So that'd be sort of my avenue of where I'd swing it, and maybe why I think scraping is necessary in terms of identifying the problem before just chucking chemicals at them. That sort of mindset. And obviously it does depend on the treatment. Some are a lot more relaxed than others, but it can be difficult in terms of prevention from my point of view anyway.
What about you, Matt? Where do you stand on it?
What, on preventative treatments?
Yeah, do you do it?
No. I tend to buy from, if I can, the same places. And I know Sunnybank Koi, I buy quite a lot of fish from them. and their quarantine procedure is second to none. Like minimum 8 weeks. Whether you believe they should be heat ramped or not, that's a different discussion. They heat ramp everything. And over the years, I've had loads of fish from them guys and never had an issue, ever. Like, buy a fish, bag it, bring it home, float it, chuck it in the pond. And obviously, I keep an eye on them, but I've never had to, I just don't get any drama.
Yeah.
I know it sounds all rosy and stuff, and I have had incidents in the past, but no, not really. I've got this thing about not putting treatments in my pond unless I really have to. If I have to, then I definitely will, because obviously I don't want my fish to die. But only if I really need to, I will put treatments in the pond. I don't even put clays in. Don't put anything in.
Do you know
makes sense.
To me, I just think it's more about, say, like my grow one, I know he's clean now. My main pond, I know he's clean because I can just look at them and you just know if a fish is feeding well, skin looks good, you've got nothing to be worried about. But when I I got my best fish out of my grow on and put them in my main pond this year, and within like a week, one of the Sankey that I'd moved over, its head just went pure white, like really, like it had got cotton wool on its head, and it got red around the mouth, like it had obviously been either rubbing its mouth or something. I don't know what it had done, or it had jumped or it hit its mouth anyway. And I just saw that, and I just moved it in, and I know it was clean from my grow on because it was absolutely fine. Move it in the main pond straight away, like flared up with something. And I just think that's just a fish that's reacted to something in the water, whether that's a different pathogen or illness from it that he's picked up from a fish it's not been exposed to previous. And that's one healthy fish into one other healthy environment. But immediately that Sankey just flares up, and I'm just like, I just straight away didn't bother netting it, scraping it. I just went PP done. Because I can see it coming, and instantly it just goes down, and it's gone away. So that's where I think it's like, if you just know something's wrong, and the strength of PP that I use, I wouldn't recommend it to a novice, because at that point I think it is like quite strong, but it's actually I actually think even a strong dose of PP is quite mild. If your system's not used to it, if the fish are used to kind of potassium going in, I think the first time they do it, they get really jumpy. The first time you give them a PP treatment, but like second and third time, I feel like they react to it a little bit differently, like they're used to it. So that's where I've used that kind of method, but I wouldn't recommend it. I just think you've got to really know where the fish has come from, and if it's coming down, and you know it's coming down with something in a healthy environment, there's just that fish is just reacting weird, and you stop it before it spreads to the other fish as well, because it can do that.
Yeah, but essentially, what was wrong with it? Was it just a little bit stressed and it just threw a bit of mucus? Because that's all it could have been. You know, it could have just literally been. I mean,
environmental change.
Yeah, exactly that. So I've come back from holiday. I was away for a week, and my dad was in looking after the pond because I haven't got like an auto clean kit or anything. So he just comes and drops the Nexus for me. And yeah, pretty much it, and tops the pond back up. When I come back, I took the covers off and I got a big kahaku, and its head was all mucused all across the top of its head. And I thought, oh dear me, you know, that wasn't like that a week ago. Couple of fresh water changes. A week later, mucus gone.
Yeah.
I didn't, and it wasn't flashing or sulking. It just had a load of mucus on its head. And I just thought, I'll keep an eye on that. Initially, I was like, you know, and you think, my God, what's going on here? But it seemed to be behaving okay. So from that, I was like, right, just keep an eye on it. Did some water changes. And like I say, a week later, it was fine. Mucus all gone.
Yeah, it's true. That is true as well. I think it's more like the nervousness around it with me is definitely whenever you add new fish, to me, it's havoc. Like it does play havoc with your
I think you're sending bad energy through these fish when you're putting them in.
That's it.
Possibly so. When I like throw them like a rugby ball into a pond.
Yeah, that's it. It.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny in there because the thing with that Sankey as well, it got all the mucus, but the actual Sumi as well, like proper went down on fish. Like it
Yeah.
all surfaced lovely, but the Sumi had actually gone down as well. And I don't
that's
know the science
that's one
behind it.
thing. Like you guys are probably, when you show your fish, you get them all ready and you prep them all, and you think, right, then I'm taking them ones with me. You get them and you put them in your vat because you bench them on a Friday before everyone comes in the next day, and you look in your vat and you think they're looking good, and then you come back in the next morning and you think, oh hell, they look horrendous. What's happened here?
Yeah,
But
I have seen a few showers like turn into almost like Kahaku as well. Like the Sumi's completely gone. I've seen it before.
Yeah, I've had that that big Sekiguchi shower of mine now. It was at a show and it's inky black, like it's always inky black, and it was almost like you'd look in on the Sunday because the fish they've had enough on a Sunday. They've literally had enough. They just want to go home. And that one there, it's black all year round, and it was like the Sumi just gone. And I was like, but a few days later, it starts to pop back up again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go on, just to touch back on parasites before we leave it a minute. I think for me, the only big concern where if I found one I'd treat would be gill flukes. Just because sometimes it can be difficult to get them or to pick them up on a slide or whatever. And
I agree with that.
Gill flukes can do some damage, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the one.
I always feel like you can tell when they've got gill fluke as well. It's like usually like the quote unquote like yawning that they do, and then also like flushing the gills on the surface. They'll do that a lot, or gasping and blowing the air through the gills, and spitting food as well. You can generally see they'll spit out food. They are like the core signs of fluke. But then as well, somebody told me that Costia can get in the gills as well and can cause these kind of like symptoms. But yeah, gill fluke is the one that everybody wants to avoid, isn't it?
Definitely.
So yeah. But no, that's interesting chat. I didn't get you on to talk about parasites, but sometimes it ends up down these.
That's it. Sometimes down this rabbit hole. But since we touched on shows, Mark, what got you into shows? What were the trigger point?
So, like most people watching this, I am just a normal koi keeper, and then I think I'd seen it on. I think it was the power of YouTube. I think someone was going to a show or something, and I thought, I'm going to go to that show. And then for a few years, I was going around the shows, and I was looking in the vats, and I was like, I fancy a bit of this. I fancy a bit of this. So me being naive, I was like, I didn't know anybody in the hobby. Like I was just one of them guys where I kept goldfish, and then I bought garden centre koi, and then I buy a few nice Japanese koi. Before you know it, you're walking around koi shows, right?
Problem.
So, yeah. So I thought, I'm going to have a go at this. So did the right thing. And the first show I did was the National. Like clueless, absolutely clueless. So get to that, no problem. Took me fishing a vat. I had a good vat. And now when I look back and I think about my first vat that I took to the National, it was bad. It was bad. But do you know, I'm glad I did it because you have to learn, don't you? You learn from that is literally how. And now, I think I've done 4 or 5 shows now. I can't remember, but taking the shows aside, like the shows are really good, but what I get more from it is like, meeting up with the lads for a weekend and just talking about koi all weekend. And it's just such a good experience. I really recommend showing to anyone, even though I shouldn't say that because I probably struggle to get a vat because it's getting more and more popular. But yeah, I sort of, going back to what you said, I sort of accidentally fell into it. And then by going to the shows, I met loads of guys. And before you know it, you're doing all sorts of shows.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah. I really enjoy showing.
Yeah. I love the community aspect of it. And do you know what? There's like a little group of people now that's like getting it a little bit. Like there's a group of us, especially the Great British, where I'm more involved with it. There's a group of good lads that are all getting involved with it and all like competing against each other. And I think everybody knows who's got a chance, what fish they're bringing, what's going to be competing, what's not, what they've got in Japan, what's coming back from Japan. So it's like it's a group of like it's really nice actually. We all usually go out for a curry, didn't we? The Great British, and that was nice. So it's nice, and all younger generation, really. I know there's a couple of older guys in that, but there's quite a lot of us younger. Obviously, Will, you've shown at every iteration at Great British as well. So it's not like it's all a load of old men that have been doing it for 30 years, if you know what I mean.
But they can't lift the heavy fish, bless them.
But
there's
no,
definitely a I mean, I've only been in the koi scene not too long, but you definitely do see a lot more younger lads coming through now. Loads of younger lads coming into the hobby, and it's what the hobby needs as well.
Definitely,
like,
yeah,
it really needs it. A friend of mine, Mark, he helps out at the shows, and he's saying that he's noticing now that there's a lot more younger guys helping out at the shows, and there's a few more of the older boys. They're sort of dropping out of it a little bit now. So hopefully there'll be a lot of fresh blood coming through.
This is the evolution of the hobby, isn't it? It's what we're always going to happen. So it's good to see.
Well, it's needed. I think it's needed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
for it to thrive, it really is needed. I'm in a few groups, and there's one group in particular that it's full of decent lads who show, and we're all like willing each other on. Of
course,
that's the one to take, and there's no, we're all happy for each other if someone wins, or there's a lot of
no bitterness
taking. No, but it's great because it creates that real nice camaraderie and nice atmosphere. It's good. It's really good. Need more of that rather than people slating people. I mean, going back to my first vat when I was at the National, God knows what people would have been saying about that vat. Honestly. Honestly, it was, I took a Kahaku. It makes me wince thinking about it now, and it just has secondary all over it. But I was still learning. I didn't know what a show koi was, what it should look like. So I'm still learning now, to be honest.
Forever learning.
Learning.
It's a hobby of forever learning.
But you strike me as someone, Matt, who's got like a similar addiction level to me, because it's almost like in the course of 2 years, you've started showing. You've been to Japan, then within a year, you've gone back to Japan, you're showing again, building a bigger pond now. This is all happening very fast. Similar to me, to be honest. I don't know if it's just we have a similar mindset about hobbies and whatever, but when you're in a hobby, it's like an addiction. Do you feel that? Are you addicted to it? Can you admit it?
I'd say, am I addicted to koi keeping? I don't think I've got an addictive personality. I think I just enjoy it. Do you know? It's I just really enjoy it. And I know that's like a bit wishy-washy to say, but I love everything about it. I love, buying koi, growing koi, meeting the lads. And then I've been over to Japan a few times. I've been showing a few times. You just sort of, I've accidentally ended up doing all these things. I haven't planned to do any of this. It's just all been a total accident.
It happened organically.
Yeah, it just organically happens. You meet lads and they go, oh, I'm off to Japan in this time next year. Do you fancy it? Give me a number. And these are lads that I just met at a show, right? And a year later, I get the phone call. You still on for that trip? And you're like, do you know what? Yeah, I am. I'm going to do it. And then you go on that trip and you meet loads more lads. And it all organically just happens on its own.
Yeah.
Same.
If for anyone out there, because you're one of the first people that I can interview here about, you've actually done the biggest koi show in the world, the All Japan Koi Show. From a hobbyist point of view, would you recommend it? What was that like, the All Japan? The
All Japan Koi Show with everything that you think it would be. The fish are amazing. First and foremost, the fish are incredible. You two both done the All Japan.
No.
I've never.
Right.
No,
So I did it in January just gone, and it was brilliant, but it was weird because I was walking around and there's hobbyists that show at the All Japan as well. So you had the GCs and the best of this and the best of that. And then you had the hobbyists that were also showing. And, over here we have this thing at the shows where all the fish are as perfect as they can be. Okay, so we grow them all year and they're as good as we can get them. When you're over there, you look in some of the vats and you think, they're all bent in there. That's bent. And they're serious. So they're all bent and that's got a load of secondary on it. And even when you look in the fish that win the awards, the incredible fish that win the awards, you can pick faults in them. You look in and you think, God, that, that's not right, or this isn't right. You've got that English mindset where you're looking and you're picking. Whereas the Japanese, they have the mindset of, yeah, but don't look at them tiny faults. Just look how incredible this fish is.
Mm.
You know, and
It's the overall, innit?
Yeah, it's the overall. Whereas in this country, we're so quick to, you look at, I don't know, let's say you look at a 60 centimetre Sankey. Let's say everything ticks all the boxes, but it's got a possible little shimmy on it, or I don't know, it's got a little bit of Sumi in the ball of its peck or something like that, a bit of Benny in the ball of its peck. It just gets, oh, no, get rid, no good. Whereas over there, they don't care. That was one thing that I took away is we are very overcritical in this country of koi. Massively overcritical.
I think it's fair to say they sort of appreciate what's so hard to achieve. If let's say they had a 90 centimeter Kwaku whose skin and body was phenomenal, but its pecs were odd, they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
They go, and
No, don't care.
the 90 cm perfect skin, everything body is so hard to achieve where the pecs are irrelevant.
Yeah,
and it's like, stuff like that.
Yeah, I get if it has amazing qualities, but some like it's if it doesn't detract from the amazing qualities. I believe like my theory on this is that the Japanese judge on like the first 15 seconds of looking at a fish, like it's that initial look in the vat. And they'll see a fish, and it's that impression that it makes, and it's the wow factor. And if it has that, then it can probably show.
Yeah, and I think from what I could see, a lot of their judging and how they view a koi, a lot of it's on, again, not to sound all wishy-washy, it's how it looks and how it makes you feel. Whereas over here, it's a ticking box exercise. You know, do you know what I mean by that? Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas over there,
there's a rule book.
Whereas over there, yeah, there's a rule book over here. Whereas over there, it's like, you know, ignore the minor faults. Just look how good it is, if you know what I mean. And I think if we could bring more fish that were really, you know, had the odd issue, but they were incredible to look at, I think the shows would benefit from that, definitely, because there's not a lot of big fish being brought to the shows anymore. You look around the vats, people aren't bringing big fish.
No, that's the big thing is even though we've got these new communities of people who are showing, it needs the Azakari to come to England and be shown here. Like there's so many English-owned, amazing like Yonsai, Gosai in Japan that are like phenomenal. And I'm really hoping they come back to England and get shown. I hope they all don't stay in Japan forever because it's so popular now to have the Azakari game. But I agree with Matt. I mean, I've been to the first time I went to Japan as a hobbyist. I think I went with the intention of spending a bit of money and then showing, and I've only shown once. And I spent a bit of money on what I thought would be good for a koi show. And my perception of what makes a good koi show fish and what is actually a good koi show fish in England has always been two separate things. But I actually think now when I go to Japan, if I buy something for myself, it's always with the mind of like, it has to be something that just strikes me from like I'll fire up some photos of a fish that I've brought back this time where it's like a shower, but the Sumi only comes up on the Benny. Like it's so unique. So it's like a Sumi. They call it Sumi Sakura. It's like a really oddball variety, and it does not meet show criteria at all. But it just really sparks something in me. But if you were looking for a koi show fish in Japan, it's a lot more expensive as well. You can buy really good koi in Japan for just some amazing qualities in it. If you go with that mindset in mind, I don't think you have to spend the world, because I don't think you might spend like thousands and thousands of pounds in Japan. Like you go and buy quite a lot of Tosai. You've bought some Nisai this time. How did you find it on your most recent trip in Niigata? Because it sounds like you've had a different experience to a lot of people this year.
Yeah, so on the build up to the trip, we were sort of the lads that were going, me, Stu, and Paul. We were watching like the YouTube clips, and like you do, watching all the lads that were over there buying the stock, and it looked really busy, didn't it, from what you could see? And we were like texting each other saying, oh god, I hope there's some fish left for us, and you know we might end up just going around Tokyo for a week at this rate, you know, just having a bit of a laugh. Anyway, when we turned up, it was the opposite. the farms we went to were the ones that all the normal guys go to. They were nice and quiet. There was plenty of fish to pick from. It was good. I mean, what's probably shop stock, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They were low on numbers because obviously all the boys were over there buying for the shops. But when you were looking in the other ponds, there was still, and I'm not talking mega money ponds, I'm just talking just slightly the next level up. There was quite a bit to choose from, so that was quite nice. So we could spend a bit of time bowling and just appreciating koi. It was just great, just really good. And we managed to, between us all, in the end, I think, how many was on there in the end? I think there was 7 of us that were over there, maybe 8, 7, I think, I can't remember. But we all come home with some really nice fish. So it was good. Loved it.
Did you have a favourite koi farm from the trip this time? Because I know you really liked Beppu last time.
Yeah, so this time, oh God, we went to that many. Nagami, Nagoshi, and Murata.
Mm-hmm.
Murata was just insane.
Nagami Kahaku, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were next level. Well, honestly, they were just,
I've
got
seen
some videos
really
of
special ones.
They were just, we did that thing where we walked into one of the fish houses and, all there's 4 or 5 ponds all lined up and you look in and you just think.
There's not one of them you wouldn't have. Yeah.
There's not one I wouldn't have, but there's not one I could afford.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah. So we went into like another fish house. Bearing in mind, these have already been picked through. We were out there first week in November, so all the boys have already been out and already picked through stock. And there was still loads of really high quality fish left. There really was. I mean, Paul bought a cracking fish and he's kept it over there for Azakari. That was a really special fish, that one. It was good.
Yeah, well, hopefully you haven't even sent me your fish yet that I think you've got in Japan yet. So hopefully
I'll
we'll
send
have
them over to you.
Footage to overlay.
That's
Matt
fine.
is renowned as the dark horse in this industry. Like,
secret fish.
Popping up winning miniature awards now.
No, that's just fluke. That's all. Do you know what it is? When I buy koi, when you show him, you're meant to stick to what the judges like, but I just ignore that.
Yeah.
Because I have to look at them 365 days of the year. And if I like it, that's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
As long as it swims straight and as long as I can get the skin looking good and they're healthy and as long as I like it, that's all that matters for me. That really is all that matters.
Skin is such a big thing. Like,
yeah.
Especially when they're in a show bar and you can see the luster and the pop. Like, I forget the chap's name. The Sankey that took mature from this year's GC.
Oh, Larry.
Yes, the skin on that fish, superb.
Yeah.
And I know obviously something unfortunately happened at the end of the weekend, but
the skin was phenomenal.
That was
phenomenal.
The Shiroji on that was just phenomenal.
Different.
The strange thing about that fish is that even though it had obviously got something going on internally, skin didn't turn up to the koi show looking like it had 10 cans of Red Bull. Do you know what I mean? It looks like it looks like it'd been out of the mud ponds. It was bizarre.
I was just got all the fish in the vat and I was going home. I was just going around saying bye. I was chatting to Larry just briefly and the fish was just starting to come round in the hospital vat, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
It was just starting to swim on its own. And he was going to give it an hour before he took it home. But even after all the stress, where it was virtually dead, wasn't it? Let's be real. It was virtually dead, that thing was. It still looked incredible. It was weird. It was absolutely bizarre.
You just wonder whether or not it's like something to do with its heart or its brain. Because at some point, like, it can't be something to do with like suffocation or it must be something like internal. But like you said, that is a great example of a fish that just strikes.
The thing is, with a show scene as well, even if you've got a boring fish, like as in a boring pattern, okay, if you can get that skin looking incredible, it doesn't matter.
No,
it does not matter. It doesn't matter. Just try and condition it the best you can. And then it's just down to the judges then at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And in fairness, it goes back to what Joe mentioned. It pops out, doesn't it? You look in the vat and you go, no, that's
exactly that. That's special. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when there's 40 odd vats and there's many of the same variety. And you've got one that really sort of like stands out. It goes a long way.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I made the mistake this year of when I was sort of rushing around getting home. It's always chaos for these shows because of work and things. And I ended up bringing like just too many fish. I made the mistake of just filling my vat up, and it was such a bad move because I thought I'd put 10 really good fish in, and individually they are 10 good fish, if you know what I mean. But when you put them all together, there's not a single one that sort of stands out. They all sort of look the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I won't be making that mistake again. I think the best thing to do is take 5 or 6, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because then they all get, when there's too many in there,
You
they
like
just
lose
get
them, don't
lost. You get
Yeah.
lost in there. And also as well, going back to the judges, when the judges are looking in, they're also lost because they don't know what the hell they're looking at in there. So that'll be a mistake I won't make again.
So next year, Matt, new pond. When you plan it, have you got like a date in mind for getting that done and dusted, or what's the plan?
So I've got a chap coming round on Saturday just to talk through, finalise sizes and depths and bits and pieces. If weather permitting, I want it dug and blocked by middle of January, if I can. And then ideally, everything else, as long as it's done by spring, April time, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with that.
So you're planning on doing the shows again? Because if you're only ready by springtime, you've got a short time until like the first koi show of the year. And
yeah, so fortunately, while the new one's being built, my current pond will just be there. It'll just be in situ.
Okay, yeah.
So I've got a space in the garden where the other one can go.
Nice.
So my current pond will just sit there, which is good. So
will you still maintain your current pond? Will you keep that?
No, I would love to. I would love to keep it.
Yeah, permission.
I think one of the things was if you build a new pond, I want a new patio. So it will. Unfortunately, it would have been a perfect like raising pond, wouldn't it? Or it would have been. Oh, the results I could get in that would be phenomenal. But no, it will be getting knocked down, and then I'll be selling all the the bead and the nexus and bits and pieces.
Exciting times, but I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to come over and cover your pond when it's done. Because, like I said, the first pond was really popular. People like that videos. It's been really nice to have you on the podcast. I appreciate your time. I hope people have enjoyed that, and I'm sure you'll see much more of Matt on the channel in future. Thanks again, Matt, for giving us your
new pond. That's it.
Yes. Thanks for inviting me on.
No worries. And thanks, Will, for joining us as always, mate. And as some of you might have seen, I'll just end on a quick note, but like there's some big changes coming for the koi perspective. I haven't done a full announcement video yet, but there'll be something out in due time. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.